Well, welcome back, everyone, to a lovely, uplifting evening of people playing Cowboys and like exploring what life would have been like back in the Wild West and making friends and solving mysteries and losing your minds and crawling in holes and disturbing ancient evils that have rested beneath for many, many years that probably aren't now hungry for your flesh or anything. Why would that happen? Hey, we got a little bit of a rotating cast of characters, and we haven't seen Chev or Arson recently. So let's start with you. Tell us about you and your character.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Chev. I am playing Arson, who is a investigator, a lawman who is not really a lawman anymore. He is more of a kind of a lawman for hire. And used to do a lot of odd jobs recently, and this is he's kind of ganged up with some of his old buddies from the first campaign and has been investigating a series of murders and has had a bout of insanity and eldritch weirdness happen to him recently, and he lost a hand, and just strange things are happening. And then this mysterious photographer that he just met like a day ago made him a like clockwork mechanical hand filled with and powered by like eldritch radium. So he's having a little bit of a strange time. It's I think canonically, we decided that he's been just kind of after the events of the previous session, his hand went a little bit haywire, and so he holed up in the forest mansion with Minnie to try and get a better control and better handling of the hand. And I think only like not more than a day has passed in game since that. So. Oh, you're muted.
Forgot about showing all the maids at the hotel your block and tackle.
Oh yeah. He went insane and he walked around naked in the fanciest hotel in town.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. He didn't know what he was doing. He thought it was a dream.
Yeah,
it was fine.
It's fine. Hey, villain.
Hey. So I'm a villain, playing Felix. So Felix is a gunslinger that is working for Mr. Forrester that got somewhat roped into this mess. So the money was right, but now he's thinking the money is probably not as good as it should be. So we explored an underground cavern and we shot some things, and he got clotheslined by a statue when he was trying to wrestle Anna to the ground and get her off of the statue. So that kind of terrified him a little bit. But yeah, he's definitely still rethinking his choices right now.
Yeah. Did Felix pick up on the fact that the payout at the end of the successful conclusion of your investigation has doubled?
No.
It was 100, now it's 200. Mr. Forrest just kind of slyly dropped that.
He did not pick up on that.
Okay, well good, then he didn't have to pay you.
Yeah. Tough.
All right, I am 90 Tough Love, Tough Dwarf Torfleton, some of the variety of nickname. I am playing Elaine. Elaine is an entertainer of the psychic variety, the typical crystal balls, summoning dead loved ones, all that good stuff. Ran into these guys when several of them got stuck inside a crystal ball, and she had to help them out. And now she's getting paid to tag along with them, and a lot of weird stuff keeps happening. She keeps having visions of people doing weird culty stuff. Learning a little bit about the Coulson estate and the Tillmans, went to their mill land, had visions of them all probably dying, getting murdered, good times. Went into the house, went a little crazy, ate a human bone from a dead guy, and then descended into a basement hole with Felix and Anna went insane. Elaine had to hypnotize her to get her to stop opening portals to other dimensions. and then got chased by ghouls up the stairs and broke reality to summon a light that kept them away.
Yeah.
And
Or at least
yeah,
at least made them vulnerable to being shot in the head.
Yeah, got very obliterated. And yeah, now she's debating on if this is worth $200 or not.
Right.
Which it probably is, maybe, assuming we
Yeah.
don't die.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine.
It's the not dying that she's worried about.
Death is the least of these characters' worries.
Eh.
You could wind up like one of those cult ghouls. You would look good with black enoki mushrooms growing out of your head.
If you say so.
Yeah. Could accessorize it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's the newest fashion craze.
So we will say, I think a young urchin, as you guys are riding back into town, a young urchin is sitting outside, like just kind of watching the street. And as soon as he sees Anna, he runs up and gives her a note, and it's from Mr. Forrest, who notes that her medical expertise, that Madame Selene is slowly and periodically regaining consciousness, and that he would appreciate a second consult. And in that note, it also explains that your friend Arson is waiting for you at the hotel. So Anna probably says you should brief Arson on all the stuff that you found out at the library, and maybe also leave out the fact that she went crazy and tried to open a hole into the world of hyper-intelligent, all-consuming mold. Whatever. She says some Anna stuff, and then we'll follow the little urchin. And you return back to the hotel. Someone sees to your horses. What happens?
Well, welcome back to the team there, Arson.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to formally meet you.
Yeah. You probably walked in on in like the lobby area. Like he would have staked up in like an out of the way, or like a dark, not a dark corner, but like trying to keep himself out of eyesight of just like anybody walking by, like a little bit of a out of the way spot. And he was doing some hand exercises, like some practicing some like dexterity tricks and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, hey, what all happened to you? Like, 'cause, like, did you all come here right from the whole like thing? So I imagine y'all are probably like scraped up and dirty and gross and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you all need some time in the bath upstairs? Like hi, good to meet you. Hi. I don't think we met before. I'm Arson.
Elaine.
Hi. Felix. Yeah, do you all need a minute? Like you all look like hell. You know that, right?
It's gonna help.
Okay. I mean, hotels seen stranger things. Yeah, just go ahead and grab a seat. What happened?
Do you want to explain, or do you want me to explain?
I mean, long story short of it, going back to the mill was maybe a bad idea, but we learned a lot.
I mean, did that thing happen again with the drowning and the water and the monsters? Like, I mean,
But there were monsters, no drowning.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe slight attempt to open rift portals to another dimension, but we stopped that, so it's fine.
So the difference I think might be is these monsters actually are in our world, where those other monsters were not in our world.
So it wasn't like weird dog, children, spider monstrosities.
No, they just had mushrooms growing off of them.
Just mushrooms.
And they took shots to the head and kept coming. And a stick of
Okay.
dynamite.
Okay. 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 Yep. This all makes sense. Okay.
We marked the hole, just don't go down it again. We should be fine.
Are they all dead? Are they trapped?
Theoretically, they're trapped, not
Roughly.
dead. I said theoretically.
I mean, there was that whole other passageway.
It's true.
Correct.
Okay.
Roughly trapped, roughly dead. Maybe a 50-50.
I mean, they are actually all dead, but they were already all dead before you got there, so that doesn't really slow them down.
We're just not gonna.
You have the argument: is the living dead really living, or is it dead?
We'll unpack that later. Wonderful philosophical questions. Yeah, I think can wait. We did learn some history about that land. That the Coulsons used to own it, but their estate burned down. And then we learned about the people that inherited it, the Tillmans. They had a son named Damon. People started dying at the mill. They blamed Maggie, and then her and her husband both died. And their son got sent to an asylum, but it got struck from the record, and also it was with a Dr. Forrest.
Felix is gonna pull out the paper and slide the paper across the table to Arson. So it's a piece of the book that he ripped out, saying that Damon got sent to Mr. J. Forrester.
JB
right?
Forrest.
Yeah.
Sent to him, and there was an incident before that and everything else. So it kind of reads it out for you.
Is keeper question. Is JB, is that the initials of our Forrest?
You know that your Forrest's first name is Jeremiah.
Okay.
You probably don't.
So-
You probably don't know that his middle name is Buchanan.
But at least like the JF part would be like J and then Forrest. Would
Dr.
be
J.
kind of-
Forrest would be, probably. Like, the suspicion is that it's him. But yes, young Damon was institutionalized, sent to Pueblo as one of 13 original patients in the newly opened asylum there. And then the official record is that there were only 11 initial patients. And then through a combination of luck and intuition and library use, there was a reference that there was an incident with one of the other residents, and that young Damon was given over to the more specialized care of one Dr. J.B. Forrest. And the assumption is that that whatever that incident is that involved another patient, both Damon and the other patient were simply disappeared from the record. So probably something maybe unpleasant. Probably not like an extra special day in the craft room. But you don't know. There's no further reference to who that other patient was or what happened to them. But it might not have been awesome. Damon is now in his early 20s, and it is not someone that Felix recognizes from being around Mr. Forrest.
Okay. Well, so the mill that we went to, that strange things happened at, the son of the owners, the second owners, was supposed to be sent to an insane asylum, but then was, given over to the custody of our employer, who never mentioned any of this. And then below that house, you found monsters and a
cold room.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very
Really
courtroom.
fancy swirly drawings on the walls that were very mesmerizing.
Where's Anna? She went with
Anna
you, right?
She did, but she went back to Mr. Forrest.
Yeah.
She went back.
Correct.
Madame Selene is having some problems
Medical.
and requires medical attention.
And I think this is something
Okay,
that you knew, Arson, was that Madame Selene was kind of periodically coming into and out of. And Mr. Forrest may, or many may even have mentioned that they're going to ask Anna to come and consult.
Okay. Felix, do you have your gun?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Elaine, do you have a gun?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go get Anna out of there. I don't trust Forrest. This stinks. This is dirty. This is just this is not no. This is not above board. Like this was weird before, and now it's like double. Just we're being. I've played with people. You know, like you tell them one thing, you don't tell them what they're doing. You get them to do what you want it to do, and they don't even realize it. Listen. I know this playbook. We're being used. We need to go get Anna back.
Okay, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but let's stop and think for a minute here, because I can tell you right now that the second I set foot in that house, there's a lot of weird magics going on in there. Rolling up with a gun is not exactly going to solve all of your problems. If anything, it's probably going to make it worse. Especially since he has Madame Selene, who is, covered in the markings of the Book of the Flood, which is probably the thing that is trying to, eat the world.
Okay. There was weird magic stuff in the mansion.
You didn't notice it? It's like head to toe covered. It's in the walls, it's in the curtains, it's in the ceilings, the floors, everywhere.
It just looked like a
design. I mean, it just looked. I mean, it was kind of repeating everywhere. So I just figured that it looked. I don't know anything about
Felix and
occult
Arson,
stuff.
give me a hard spot hidden.
Ooh. That would be. That was. Oh, failure. 84 over whatever it is. It's not that good. Over 10. I just thought it was his If I noticed anything, it would have been like that's his personal family crest or something like that.
Yeah.
I also got a 97.
Yeah. Elaine is describing it to you, but you're just having a hard time because, to her point, it is
Everywhere.
and subtle. It's in the patterns in the wall hangings and in the parquet of the floor. So it's designed such that your eye just assumes that it's part of a pattern. Only someone with the degree of familiarity that Elaine has would really call it out. So you're like, yeah, there's patterns, but you're having a hard time conjuring them in your mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
He's rich.
you're
He can pay for
saying-
embroidery.
So you're saying that house is just covered in magic?
Yeah. Whether it's keeping magic in or magic out or both, I'm not sure. I didn't really get to observe it that much. It was kind of a lot on the senses.
Okay.
Is it everywhere? Is there anywhere that it's like there's not as much of it? Like, is there like a back door that we could like go through?
I would have to seriously investigate the house, and I don't know how well we'd be able to do that without seeming suspicious.
Knowing
I
my-
understand your concerns. I think the best way to play this is to play dumb so that nothing occurs.
and
As far as he knows, we don't know anything like this. Assuming that Anna doesn't say anything.
Did you?
so knowing my employer, he is also very thorough.
Yes.
So he's not gonna leave a weak spot, especially where somewhere he is his home and he dwells at night. He's not gonna leave a weak spot. I get what you're trying to say, Arson, but I don't think it's gonna be that easy.
Well, and I think we can take some solace in knowing that we literally brought him the Book of the Flood, and so far we haven't seen any repercussions from that, so hopefully he's at least on our side on that.
Touche.
Is there any? Would Arson have any reason to necessarily think that the Book of the Flood is connected to the monsters that you all saw down below? I mean, like, obviously, yes, because it's two weird things that happened in close proximity to each other, but
I don't know that are other than just like the suspicion that they might be connected because of coincidence.
Okay.
Elaine is in a very good position on the basis of observing the ghouls, observing what that ritual chamber does, where it goes, what your vision of was, and what you learned about the Book of the Flood. You suspect, I think Elaine 100% thinks that when you got the warning that there are those who would want to read the Book of the Flood, maybe those ghouls might be interested or people like them.
Yeah.
Okay.
People who want to bring about bad stuff. And I will say this. Arson understands the playbook and I think rightly assumes that he's being played. But nothing that you've observed in Mr. Forrest suggests that I think everything that you know now and in recontextualizing all of your interactions and observations with him just confirms that he is probably playing a couple of different angles. But ending the world by summoning a world eater doesn't seem like his jam.
Yeah, you don't exactly build a fortress in the world you want to burn down.
Yeah.
Bad for business.
Yeah. Okay, did you all tell him that you were going to the library to do this research?
No.
No.
No, we decided to do that after. He just instructed us to continue investigating.
Okay.
The
I
thing
mean,
So
Anna's
maybe-
probably telling him right now, but it's fine.
Okay. we have to hope that Anna hasn't just told him everything that happened. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we can just keep it a secret that we know about that connection.
Yeah, hopefully she's a little shell-shocked after the whole touching the statue and reading the words and opening the portals thing.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe she's just, I don't know, she likes to study things. Maybe she's studying Madame Selene or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So some other point that I don't think we touched on Damien is that there is no death certificate.
He is presumably still alive.
And the deed to the property would have actually transferred to him as well.
Yeah. And there nowhere does it in the current property records does it show that it has been claimed. But the de facto owner would be Damon. Oh, also Elaine forgot to mention that the grind wheel of the mill was marked with eldritch runes and was being used to grind up people.
Yeah.
Before the Coulsons were all murdered and burned in their houses.
Yeah.
And expected that the Tillmans were using the same grindstone to do flour.
Yeah.
Which is probably why it was poisoned.
Yeah. Because the poison was people having weird hallucinations and bad stuff happening to them. So
yeah.
So nothing to your knowledge that connects the Tillmans and the Coulsons, other than the fact that the Tillmans bought the old abandoned Coulson property cheap and tried to start the mill back up. There was no, at least nothing that you found in the records suggested that there was any other connection between the families.
Mm-hmm. Is that the first time that you saw the name Forrest come up was when Damon Tillman was given to him? There's no, you didn't find any. Did you ever see if there's a connection between him and the Coulsons?
No, we didn't go down that path.
I think we reasoned that he may have been too young at the time to really be involved with what happened with the Coulsons.
He would have been in single digits age because the Coulson situation was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
He might have been 11, but he would have been a kid.
Yeah, he might have gotten interested as he got older, but he wasn't directly involved in whatever happened with them.
So what was y'all's plan next? I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a
Mm-hmm.
little worked up right now. I
Yeah.
So one other thing before we come up with a plan. So we went back to the house and we found out what that screaming black thing that was on the wall was as well. Elaine used some type of magic and found out that it was a hobo and that he ate some of the mold.
don't eat the mold.
No, do not ingest the mold. Bad plan.
We definitely didn't all do that. Well,
Yeah.
okay. So we have
Flashback cut to Elaine just gnawing on the dead guy's bone.
Didn't
It's fine.
Elaine doing like
The longer
matrix
they're out,
dodges.
the more sanitized they are, right?
Yeah,
That's how
they've
that
been
works.
sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, it's fine.
The
Mold wouldn't
spores
live
are
that
dead.
long.
Definitely not a thing the mold spores can just last forever.
Yeah, in
No.
space.
Uh,
In
okay.
near absolute zero and high radiation environments. It's fine.
I'll just stick it near some of the radium. Maybe that'll finally kill it. It's fine.
Oh, you should definitely do that?
Yeah. Okay. So do we go to Forrest's house?
Maybe we should do
Um,
some more research about maybe Mr. Forrest in the library. Or I feel like getting information is always getting hard facts is a little bit better than just kind of going in blind and being able to be lied to without knowing the fact. Because if we can catch him in a lie, then at least we can kind of call him out on it.
I guess that just points us to the question of what exactly is our goal. What are we trying to find?
Well, we
I mean,
kind of seems like we came here to solve the murders, and it sounds like you all found the murderers. I'm at. That's not actually
Was I
true.
ever briefed on the murders?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did they tell you about the murders?
I mean, Anna
this
briefed
of
you
not
in about
remembering?
15 seconds. So there's like these people and they were being murdered and they had their missing pieces, but the missing pieces weren't normal missing pieces. They were kind of just like disappeared. And then
Oh,
it was
yeah,
trying to
that's
make
right
a body
then.
out of itself. And then we saw it. It was Mr. Twister. That it was underneath the armoire, and then it kind of unfolded, and then we didn't chase it, and then we went upstairs, and yeah, it was that hole. So you got
Yeah,
like a
that
brain dump.
Feel that
A 5-minute
Elaine was
sidebar
like,
while y'all were like under the bridge.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then mostly
yeah.
it's been survival tips. Like if you feel yourself starting to drown in open air, you just have to climb to higher ground. If
Yeah.
anyone asks you if Johnny can come out to play, just say no and run.
I mean, look, Aleda's probably 100% convinced that Anna is absolutely certifiably insane after last session, so
But also super cute. So
very cute. And Elaine can deal with insane. That's fine. Like, deal with creepy, spooky horrors on a daily basis.
So I guess the other thing would be is either go to the library and figure out things about Mr. Forrest and maybe his back history with the city, or maybe finding a cult shop of some sort and maybe try to figure out what maybe some of those symbols that you said that are all over his house are.
Mhm.
Because if we can figure out what those are, if they're just protection, I don't know, concealment, I don't really know anything about magic, so I don't really know
I mean,
what type of
with
spells could be out there.
the right tools, I could probably deduce at least the intent of them. Not sure that I would be able to necessarily replicate or destroy, but if we know what it's for, that gives us an idea of
What's his
what
attention?
he's doing. Yeah. Sure, we can
Uh,
try that.
So we can do either one of the two. Anybody else have any ideas? I definitely want to go back to the bill. Definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking if we want to investigate Forrest, then we might want to see what the people know. I mean, he's been around for a while. I'm sure that there are rumors about him, about his estate. If you ever want to find out what really happens in a town, you go talk to the vagrants, talk to the people at the edges, and you can find out more than you would expect from those kind of people. So, it might take a little longer than hitting the books, but spend enough time in the right bars, buy a couple people some drinks, you can find out a lot.
Very true.
We could theoretically divide and conquer, but I can understand if we're reluctant to do that.
Split the party.
Yeah, I would like to stay in at least groups of 3.
Yeah, we've already split up enough, I think.
Well, how about this? If we can find a shop with occult items, I can peruse, pick up something that would potentially help, and then I can decipher it at a bar while you guys see what you can find in the rumor mill.
It's kind of like divide conquer, but at least we're in the same general
we're all
area.
together.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
like
do that. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. So I think it's a bit of a montage because it's not like occult stores are just on the corner or like there's a big sign that says, "Oh, occult stuff here." It's not quite, it's the 1880s, not the 1980s. So I think I'm open to what skills are used. I would like to get some skill checks from folks to understand like how you go about trying to locate. So for example, it could be find some people and talk to some people and talk to more people and kind of follow that chain back, which could be like charm or persuasion, or actually be charm or fast talk. It could be, who knows?
I mean, I feel like Elaine would maybe have ideas on where to look since she had the connection to Madame Selene already, so she's not ingrained in Denver, but she knows things.
You might, and that could be like the skill you apply could be variable, but you could be like working back through. I know she has this, like I know she did a seance for these people and they own this shop, and I could go and talk to them and see if I could get some leads. It could be any number of things, but so let me know what your approaches are, what skills you would like to try that aren't like, I mean, I guess you could use like fighting to go beat it out of people. Just be aware there are consequences if you choose to use like problematic skills. But I'm just curious what skills you would like to apply to be able to see if you can't get a lead on a place that might have some info.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably want to use like just a occult and track. Maybe there's like, you go down an alley and there's like this tiny little gap or something, and then you gotta kind of track it down to get through different things, and maybe there's like a certain sign that's like a clue, and then you got to go over here and then kind of hidden.
Yeah, just use your skills at reading the subtle signs of the environment. Like an alley that has more traffic than it ought to, or cool. That makes sense to me. What about arson?
I was going to suggest something kind of along the same lines of spot hidden to see. So what I'm thinking of is like, I don't think this is quite the right time period for this, but I was thinking like hobo code of like, there's not going to be like this is the occult bookshop of like, this is the symbol that means that inside this store is an occult bookshop. It's not going to be that obvious, but I was thinking that like paying attention while they're going around town and trying to see that like, like go here if you need help. So kind of things like looking for clues to the places of like, like if you're in a strange position, this is the place to be. Kind of that's the gist he's looking for.
Subtle Masonic symbols or the equivalent. Yeah, makes sense to me. What about Elaine?
I think I don't know. I could see track or fast talk working here, of her just kind of going through the contact list and then figuring out like, oh, I know where this person is. Let me track them down, talk to them, see if they can point me in the right direction, and start gathering clues that way.
Yeah, I would say, I would say either persuade or actually any of the socials, persuade, charm, or fast talk. It depends on like if you're charming or persuading, you're being a bit more straightforward about what you're looking for. Fast talk is like trying to like get the info without maybe them knowing that you're getting the info.
Okay.
So your
I
choice.
think, yeah. She's probably gonna fast talk. She doesn't really know if these people
Yeah,
want things.
yeah, and where their allegiances might lie. You know that
Yeah.
there is an extensive kind of, you probably suspect, but from Mr. Forrest, Arson and Felix know that there's at least one extensive group of individuals of like mind who are interested in spiritualism and Eastern religions and a bit of witchcraft here and there. So
Yeah.
it definitely
And they might
exists.
not be like ill intent, but like Madame Selene, they might accidentally cause problems.
Yes.
So do that.
Cool. Roll them up.
Woohoo! I got an 8 out of 40.
Ooh.
I got
43 under 60.
Oh, good.
50 under 60.
Okay, well, everyone's real good at all this stuff. No, it's fine. Go ahead and be sure to mark those skills so you can have a chance at advancing them. Cool. Yes. So I'm going to say it is definitely a group effort. It's a combination of Elaine getting some subtle clues around, like, it's a little bit of double talk, like, oh, what neighborhood, that kind of stuff. And then leveraging Felix to watch out for like, oh, that place is boarded up, but it's clear that people are going in and out of there pretty frequently. And Felix seeing a few little strange signs and symbols to lead you to, yes, what looks to be an old whitesmithy, right?
Well, I've never heard of the profession. I don't know what you would call it.
So if a blacksmith has a smithy, it would be a blacksmithy. Then I assume a whitesmith would also have a whitesmithy. So this is the makers of like cutlery and stuff. So not like fine silversmithing, but also not like making nails and hinges. So it's home furnishing style, with kind of softer metals. And it does look, for all intents and purposes, like it's boarded up or abandoned. It's got old yellowed newsprint in the windows. It probably was at one time pretty prosperous because it has big windows or whatever, but it's just kind of, it's a bit of an eyesore.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to, like, as we come up to it, Arson is gonna like turn to everybody else and kind of like motion him to stay put for a second, and he's gonna try and like put his like go up to the door as silently as he can and put like his ear to it and listen to see if there's anyone inside.
Yes.
Oh, that is an 8 under 50.
Ooh. Yes, you definitely hear movement. And by movement, I mean, it sounds like someone walking quickly, short steps, on occasionally the creak of a floor. And maybe, because that was a really good roll, maybe you hear a woman muttering to herself.
Okay. I'm going to back away from the door and go back to the others and kind of let him, like, whisper, like, okay, I think this is the place. There's definitely people in there. I've never been to this kind of place before. Elaine, like, is there like a protocol to this? Do we need to like give a password or something?
I think
I assume
as
we can't
long
just,
as
like,
we know what we're talking about, we'll be fine. I believe it's more hidden to keep them safe from scrutiny more so than anything else, and we're no stranger to the unnatural.
Okay.
Felix, were you able to figure out where people are usually going in and out?
Sort of. I know that they're coming in and out of this building. I think they're coming in and out of over here. Kind of looks like a basement entrance. And then they might be going through that and kind of up into the main house.
Yeah. There is a little bit of traffic that you're picking up out that front door. But not a lot. But yeah, the alleyway sees a lot more traffic than you anticipated. And it does lead to some, probably like a coal dump.
Just remember, everybody, when we go in there, confidence, we are supposed to be here. It's important.
Right.
Okay. Okay, let's do it. I guess we go in through the coal cellar.
Yeah, we'll say it's not locked. Not full of coal. Although there's a little bit. Hey, Juice and friends, good to see ya. There's it's a cellar, and so there's like dust, and there's still coal dust, but there hasn't been a delivery of coal here for many years, and all the detritus has been removed. And as you open it with a creak, you now all can hear the sound of tip tip tap on the floorboards above you. Give me a stealth, everyone. I was curious how like super obvious you are, or how loud the creaking of the opening of the cellar door was.
Wow. All right. 13 out of 20.
Ooh. Mark it.
11 out of 20.
60 over 20.
Okay, well, at least someone failed.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. 11 under 40.
Okay.
My apologies.
So some really good successes. We'll say that Elaine goes to open the door, the door, and then Felix like wait, and then like slowly eases it open to help those two be really stealthy. And then like they make their way in, and then Arson starts to make his way in, and you grab a hold of the door to hinder yourself with your right hand, and then just immediately crush it in your mechanical grip.
Break the handle. It slams shut behind me.
Cool. But no, I think with a 2 out of 3, the individual in the space above doesn't hear you. What happens?
Sorry about that.
You just rip off a chunk.
Yeah.
Gently set it
I'm
down.
just like,
maybe don't touch anything.
Well, like I said, we're supposed to be here, so let's just go ahead and go upstairs. I mean, there's no real reason to be sneaky. I mean, it's technically a shop. It's just kind of like a black market, a cult shop. I mean,
It's not like the door was locked and we had to give them a password.
Correct. So I mean,
head upstairs and start browsing.
Yeah.
All right. You head up the rickety stairs into just a real mess. Mismatched shelves, various implements of kind of dated furniture that have been repurposed as display, sagging bookcases, both lining the walls and also sort of freestanding, filled with just stacks of books and folios and paper. There's a definite kind of smell to the place. It's a mixture of kind of pleasant smells like perfumes and gums and incenses, and the general kind of musty but pleasant smell of aging paper. And then there's a kind of animal smell as well, like a bit sour and musty and musky. And oh God, I guess I have to. Then a little small woman's head pops out. She has a very kind of ornate updo in a style that is either very, very archaic or very, very sort of forward fashionable. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's significantly more ornate than what one would expect of the fashion of the moment. She's wearing period appropriate clothes, but she is quite short. And then she says, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Sorry, I think I broke your door a little bit.
Why'd you break my door?
I didn't know my own strength.
I might have something for that.
Listen, this is not really
Oh, look at that
it's my first
hand.
time here.
And she'll scamper up to you and grab the hand and look at it and go, and then sniff it. You're looking to part with this.
This is a photographer friend.
I
of
give you
ours,
$20.
No,
I probably
no,
have
no,
I probably have another one around here that you can use.
I'm confident you don't.
You don't know what I have.
We're just here to browse.
Like I said, who are you? What do you want?
I'm Arson. Good to meet you. And you are?
I'm Nicoletta. That's right, Nicoletta.
My name is Elaine. I am an acquaintance of Madame Selene's.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. We weren't that close.
You say like that. You say that like there's something that happened to her. I did hear a little rumor about a seance gone horribly, horribly awry.
Something like that. I'm sure she's fine. As I said, we're not very close.
I see.
Sorry, I just had a massive brain fart. Yes, as he said, we're just here to browse. We're just looking to see if we can find anything. More
Monkey's paw,
relating...
hand of glory, tetragrammaton.
No.
Something for protection, maybe?
Yeah.
Monkey's paw, hand of glory, tetragrammaton.
Well, more of a studious sort, books of sigils and wards.
Ooh, books. Do I have any books?
Question for the other players: Would we have decided like how much we wanted to say like about the forest connection?
Nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably nothing. It was like Elaine was trying to cover her tracks to get here, so
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think she wants the connection. Yeah. Are the books organized at all, or should we just peruse?
I mean, they're all out in the open, aren't they?
So I'll take that as a no. Wonderful. Thank you for your help. And I will go to the bookshelves and start looking.
People always expected me to find everything for them.
It's almost like you're a shopkeep.
Look, I'm very busy. I'm a franchise.
Some franchise. Yeah, I'll start flipping through books and see if I can find anything that looks
Cool.
for
Library use.
Oh, great. So
When I was listening, did I hear her talking to herself or to another person?
It sounded like she was talking to herself. You only heard one voice.
Got it.
But you never know.
Okay. I got a 23 out of 24. So barely.
Wow.
Thank goodness that went up.
Yeah, you advanced it last time. So cool. Yeah, I'm gonna say it takes you a while, but you do find a manuscript on it's a survey of it's probably not even overtly occult as in meant for practitioners. However, it is a survey of various signs and sigils claimed to have protective power by cultures around the world. So like an early kind of anthropology. There's a lot of, kind of, I mean, it's very florid. It is what you would expect. It's probably European in nature, so it's lots of like kind of noble savage stuff, which is a little bit ick in a modern time frame, but very much expected from what you see. But yeah, there's everything from kind of biblical stuff and what is it called, the Holy Square, where you arrange letters and they spell out something, to all the different seals and sigils of all the different angels, etc., and then some other kind of weirder stuff.
Perfect. Yeah. How much for this one?
$3.
I'll give you $1.
$3.
$1.
$3.
$1.
Oh, I thought you were serious. And she snatched it out of your hand and then goes and stuffs it in behind some other stuff on a different shelf.
Fine. $3.
Haha, all right. She holds out her hand.
I will hand over $3.
All right. Where did I put it? It's around here somewhere. Well, it's yours now. You can find it. What about for the rest of you? What do you want?
I would say probably while Elaine is probably looking at books, I feel like Felix would go over to like the rocks and stuff and just kind of start picking them up and looking at them and messing with things, not really knowing what they're for, just kind of looking at them.
Okay. Yeah. Just a bunch of rocks. I would like you to give me a sanity check, please.
23 out of 67.
Okay. Yeah, your eyes are attracted to a gem, effectively, or some sort of like cut rock crystal. But your eyes are it's kind of like hidden, kind of buried under stuff. So you just see a little bit of a gleam and start to uncover it. And as you look at it, there's this like strange, almost transposition. But like as soon as you touch it, you feel a sense of presence and how to describe it, like distortion. Like the room around you suddenly feels very, very close, and yet at the same time you're in this vast space. Like the sound is suddenly very echoey. Just everything warps ever so slightly. And as you hold it, you feel an attention drawn to you, an intelligence, as if from a great distance. And then
I feel like
go ahead.
I feel like Felix would pick it up and just kind of do one of these things, see if like he can get some like stray light through it and see if he can see anything in it.
Oh, well, you can't see anything in it. And it's the size of a fist. It's quite large. But as you heft it up and try to get it to catch the light, it's not that it's catching the light, because there are a few kind of low gas lamps in here, but most of the direct light from the outside is being blocked by the newsprint. But you do see a pattern of light playing on the shelves and walls near you. Like it's not coming from the crystal so much, but you can see the effect in outside reality. It's this sort of dancing, like water, like light through deep water. And then you're so entranced, you are surprised when a little hand leaps up and smacks it out of your hand. No, no, no. Number one, you break it, you buy it. Number two, that technically belongs to someone else. Well, in a sense, in a different... Anyway, never mind. It's complicated.
Well, I mean, if I'm holding it and you smack it out of my hands, I feel like you break it.
All right, well, you would have to take that up with her. $200. Or a favor. You could do me a favor.
What's the favor?
Oh, we'd have to think about that, wouldn't we? Something really interesting.
Felix is gonna go pick up the rock again.
Are you looking for a job? You look kind of strong.
And he's gonna shove it back into the gems and then walk away.
Oh, well, it's probably a smart decision. It's not even supposed to be here.
Then why 200 if it's not supposed to be here?
Well, I can't miss an opportunity for profit, can I? Besides, once I sold it to you, you'd have to deal with the consequences.
Fair.
Anyway, I have a sense that you all have a problem that you come here for means of solving. I'm a little bit psychic myself. Do I have that right?
I'm sure you are.
Do I have that right?
Yeah, it's almost like that's why I got this book.
Right. Well, you know. Well, I do have some things that can solve your problems. Like, do you need to open something or get in somewhere?
Prefer
We
if it's
need
locked,
to-
not get in there.
I mean, I can sell you a Hand of Glory. I'll get you in anywhere. You want to just deal with a situation and just, like, real easy? Like, make something true or not true? I can get you a monkey's paw.
No.
Are you sure? Guaranteed fresh.
Yes. Yeah, the freshness actually is more concerning.
Well, you got to have a supply. They're in shockingly high demand these days.
I think we're okay.
Right.
Who
Amulets.
all is buying monkey paws?
Oh, you would be surprised. All sorts. I have to import them special.
Let me tell you what I don't want to make things true. I don't want to get in somewhere. I'm looking for information.
About what?
I recently I'm tracking down an artifact. Looking for information. And I think it might have come in the hands of a collector in this area. I was wondering if you could point me to some of the people who maybe would have acquired some unusual pieces of, ephemera, nicks and knacks, any of those kinds of things.
They want my client list.
Would not presume to ask for just a copy of your client list,
Good.
but somebody
It's all
who,
right here.
maybe a lead, a pointer in the right direction.
Maybe. What's the artifact?
Oh, it was a book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I am lying out my ass.
Yeah. Oh, there's a fast talk coming.
Yeah. It was a book written by a natural philosopher, the natural scientist
Yeah.
on treatises on unusual fungi that had been observed in some of his studies abroad. A travelogue.
I see. I don't really. That's incredibly vague.
I'm also working on vague information. Apparently, this scientist found some very unusual samples and had reported, had been in the process of writing a manuscript on them, and in the middle of writing the manuscript, disappeared. His thesis advisor just lost contact with him. The college just doesn't even keep him on the books anymore. They had to kick him out because he just stopped paying his tuition and disappeared one day. Some of his relatives are curious, like what happened to him. They wanted me to try and track down his research notes and get some closure for them.
That sounds remarkably plausible.
And I think that a collector in this area might have come across it. So I'm just looking for anybody who might know. Is there any collectors in the area who I can talk to? Not take the book, but just get access to it to get a gist for the family, get some closure for them.
All right, fast talk.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's an 85 over 5.
Yeah. So you're looking for a book from a mushroom collector, and you want me to point you to the person who might have collected the book here.
Yeah, that's totally what I'm looking for.
Why don't you tell me what you really need? Look, I like you. I mean, you have a nice face, and I really like your hand. So why don't you tell me what you're really looking for, and maybe I'll help you.
Do you got a book on mythical creatures?
She just
That
kind of
maybe
probably just gesture at all the books.
that live underground.
Yeah, lots of them live underground. Do you have anything in particular other than just random mythical creatures that live underground?
Live in complete darkness.
Like
have
underground,
mushrooms on
yes.
them, that have mushrooms that grow off of them. Humanoid.
Oh, we're back to the mushrooms. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Do you have a scrap of paper?
She just looked around. Yes.
Oh, okay. Arson grabs the nearest book that looks pretty large, and he goes to like the front papers, and he rips out an empty
No, there's a
page.
piece of paper laying right over here. What are you doing to facing my property? Here.
Oh, okay, fine, whatever. Then he just tucks it back in, puts it in. He is going to sketch a doodle of what he remembers of he never clocked it as a magic sigil or anything like that, but like what he remembers of some of the ornate tracery and fine work that from the times he's spent in the forest mansion. He's going to try sketching some of those designs, and he's going to put the initials JBF kind of in the corner of it all, and then he's going to like not without saying anything, slide it over to her.
Okay, she looks at the doodle and is just like, what? Because you didn't really notice, right? So it's just like, I don't know, it's like a design. And she look at the initials and go, oh. You're looking for an introduction to this particular individual.
We already have an introduction.
Then what do you need me for?
We're looking for information about this person.
Like
information that maybe they would not have told us themselves.
Or that's just not public knowledge.
Oh, well. I tell you what. Buy some more stuff from me, and I'll probably tell you. We've got 3 customers, only one of them's paying at the moment, and she's not the one asking the question. So if you were to be a paying customer, I might, like little gift wrapping, share a little bit of information.
Felix is going to go over to the books and see if he can't find a book on these creatures that they ran into.
Yeah, library use or luck, I suppose you could roll that too.
Well, my library use went up.
But is it higher than your luck?
They're close.
Okay.
That is a 46 out of 26.
Yeah. That could work. Unless you want to spend 20 luck.
No.
Okay. And you? He's really interested in that recipe book for some reason. I don't think there's any mushroom recipes in there, dear.
Recipes?
Oh.
I asked for mythical creatures.
Then why are you looking at a recipe book?
If you would help or be organized.
How dare you? Anyway.
Back with a little bit more fury. We'll walk around to the other side.
What about you?
Do you... And he's going to pull off his the glove a little bit off of his hand so that like some of the like the tracery and the glow...
Her eyes get big. Ooh.
Yeah. Do you recognize... Have you ever seen anything that glows like that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have anything?
Oh, yeah. Probably too expensive for you, though. Unless you have a spare 100 years.
No.
All right.
Don't have that. Do you have a... You offered Felix? You offered him a favor?
Yeah.
Would you give me any more if you had a piece of any of that metal? I might be willing to do a favor for you.
Oh, you do a favor for me for just a little piece of this?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I like it. Yeah. Well, so, due to circumstances beyond my control, I think I'm going to be closing this particular branch of my extensive franchise, just because things around here are,
Going underwater.
Sort of. Maybe. Could happen. So, I'm looking at kind of shifting some of my inventory to another location. I could definitely use some help in that. Just, a little manual labor.
Okay. I can help with that. I've definitely... Yeah. Okay. When are you doing a move?
Oh, I'm kind of keeping my ear to the ground, as it were.
Okay.
But I'm always on the lookout for a spare hand
Yeah.
or two or
Well,
200. You know how things go.
yeah. Okay. Well, this is he writes down the number on the like the hotel they're staying at and the room number and all that. Like, well, this is where we're staying. It sounds like you're not gonna be moving immediately. This is how you get in touch with me.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll find you. All right. And she'll go into a back room, and you hear a bunch of banging and clattering and stuff falling down, and a little cursing on her part. And then she'll come back with a box. And she kind of holds it close. She sets it up on the counter and holds it close and opens it up, and there's just this play of multicolored light across her face. And then she'll sort through. No, not that, not that. Oh, I forgot I had that. No, not that. Oh, all right, fine. Here you go. It's a little shard, a spindle, if you will. Looks to be roughly the same material as your hand, or the crystal that powers your hand.
He's gonna take a handkerchief and kind of like roll it up in it.
Probably a good idea. Do you guys know what radiation is? Right? Is here now? I can tell by looking at your face you don't. Yeah.
I mean, the Dr. Handler that we've, he sells some radiated water. He says that it's good for you. He has these marvelous jugs that you put the water in it and then you just let it sit overnight. And
Oh, yeah.
cures what ails you.
Oh yeah, it'll eventually cure everything that ails you. He's right about that.
Yeah, he told us never to drink from it, but we pretend to.
Probably smart.
He gives us $5 to pretend and sip it and say, "Oh, it tastes good."
Oh, to draw in the rubes. Yes.
Yeah, and then we get out of town right quick after that.
Oh, I would imagine so. All right, y'all are interesting people. But anyway, so you got your book. You aren't interested in the recipes. You got your little fancy rock. Oh, right. All right. Well, so Mr. Forrest is not a customer of mine. And I must say I haven't really been to his place. I've noticed it in passing, though. It sticks out a bit. Has some unique properties. It is a unique property, in fact.
What's unique about the property?
Oh, well, it's extremely well appointed, haven't you noticed?
Maybe.
I'm sure you have. I don't know that he collects, mushrooms, underground, things growing out of their heads, plus all that other situation that's going on. Because we're such good friends and you're such a good customer. And I do hope that you come back, as I probably won't be here after you help me with the whole moving things around. But regardless, I care deeply about your safety and well-being as a customer of mine. So what I will tell you is that he is a good ally to have. If you don't mind the fact that he's a little parsimonious with facts and the truth. He thinks he's all like super secret and mysterious, and that he's like, oh, I see the truth behind the veil and understand the secrets of what's going on around me, blah, 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 and I have to protect other people from these deep, dark, earth-shattering secrets. It's like, honey, it's so much weirder than you think it is. Anyway, I wouldn't say he's a good person, but if all this mushroom talk is what I think it is, he's probably a good ally to have.
What do you think it is?
Well, The end of the world. Well, a world. Maybe. Who knows? Look, I just play the percentages.
Well, you clearly know more than we do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that it helps to know that you.
Not always.
Fair enough. But having someone else vouch for him definitely helps.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm vouching for him. I'm just saying. Let's just put it this way. He's likely to be one of the last men standing. He's
My kind of guy.
prepared. More so than most of the people around here. Who are, frankly, apt to fall to pieces when things get difficult. Anyway, if you don't want a monkey's paw, then there's not much else I can do for you.
No, I think I'm done. Y'all?
I got what I came here for.
Okay. Again, sorry about the door.
It's fine. And just be prepared. It's going to be hard work.
No stranger to that.
All right. All right, bye. Come back if you need anything, but quick.
Can do.
She scurries off back into the back room. You hear a monkey. Eek. No, they didn't want your paws. Sorry, I tried to sell them your paws, but they wouldn't take them. I swear if they just took a monkey's paw, everything would be fine.
Nothing would be fine.
Nothing is fine right now. How could it get worse?
Apologies for that extended deep cut.
All right, well, are we still wanting to try to find out any other rumors about Mr. Forrest?
I was
Not particularly. I mean, if some stranger kind of just vouched for him somewhat. I mean, I feel like she was weird, but she
Less
at
of
least
a vouch, more of a it's better to be on his side than not.
correct.
Yeah. I guess I got the information that I was hoping for. That, I mean, I was gonna, go talk to some drifters and some bums and maybe some old farts hanging out in the bars and try to find out, like, hey, is this guy trustworthy? Is this guy, like, up to shady stuff? And really what I wanted to find out was kind of what she told us, which was, whether or not he's gonna stab us in the back, whether or not he's gonna, like, whether we need to run away as fast as possible. And I don't think I feel better knowing that our companions are with him than I did an hour ago. Let's put it there.
Look, he's not trying to end the world, so that's what I care about at this point.
Do we really think the world is at stake here?
Oh yeah.
From when we were on the other side, I would probably say yes.
Yeah, I saw the thing that's potentially coming, and it is not good.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want the world to be covered in living mold that is intelligent and devours everything.
It's just, the world's big. I mean, I've seen a lot of it, and just the idea, and he kind of like stomps on the ground. The idea, like, this all feels solid. The world is big. We've seen weird things, but like world-ending things,
I think the point of an eldritch horror is that it is somewhat beyond your comprehension.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Granted, we're trying to stop it from ever becoming comprehensible or coming here, period. But maybe let's not caught up in the logistics of it.
I mean, I guess the best way to think about it here, Arson, is this thing is ripping between worlds. Do you think it destroying a world would be any issue?
Not really. I guess really I just keep thinking maybe we should just walk away, that, just this part of this city, just whatever's here, maybe it just eats this town and we just never come back here again. Just blot this off the map. But
if it comes through the world, there's no safe place. Unless you want to try to figure out how to build a rocket to Mars that doesn't transport mold with you.
Not really. I mean, Mars, like, the moon would be far enough away, and just that seems impossible. I don't know. Yeah. We gotta go get. Okay, so we think we know that Forrest is maybe connected to everything. We maybe have an idea. Do we just need to go tell him now that we maybe trust him a little bit more? Or I think I'm willing to trust him more than I was before. Maybe do we just go lay out what we found and tell him?
So I feel like there's a handful of things we should probably hold back, which is one, that we notice all the wards or whatever things around his house. Probably shouldn't mention that, or well, at least.
Oh, he picked up on my abilities. I'm sure that he knows that I was able to pick up on some of the things in his home. I don't think that's exactly necessarily a secret. It's just not noticeable to the normal person.
Maybe you should just maybe we should keep that we, not you, but we don't know that it's there. At least, okay, he knows that you're cued in on that one, but we're still not. So we can at least be somewhat in the dark.
So what is it exactly that we would want to tell him then? Because if you don't even want to admit that we know that his house is warded, that seems a little...
Well, he doesn't...
Well, we should probably tell him about the statue in the basement, and that Hannah tried to open up another world.
Maybe he knows something, but I doubt he knows everything. Like he would if he knew that there was a weird mushroom cultists underneath the Tillman's farmhouse, then like we've been there already. We were knocking around there. Like I assume if that was on his radar as something, he would have either told us, hey, go check out the basement, or he would have asked if we did. Like, I feel like he's keeping his cards close to the chest, but maybe he doesn't know everything, and maybe he doesn't know anything about what y'all found last night.
If he knew everything, he wouldn't be paying us, so I can agree with that.
The old Tillman's house, by the way, it's no longer standing.
Oh yeah, it fell down.
It was barely holding together before, so not surprising. So I guess we just report in and say y'all found some clues or you decided to go back and check out the house, the mill again, and then you found the shrine.
Let's see if he knows anything about that.
Okay.
Or potentially obviously he probably wasn't around for it, but if he's done any digging into the Coulsons.
Maybe we should start vague instead of just spilling everything out to him. Maybe like tell him that we found the plate underneath the floorboards and see if he knows where that leads to. And then see if maybe we could pry information out that way instead. Maybe have him tell us what's down there, and if he doesn't know, then maybe go from there.
You want to lead him? And sure.
Would we be saying like, hey, we went to the farmhouse and we saw that there was a blocked up passage underneath it. We totally didn't check it out.
Well, we also have to remember that Anna is there, and Anna was also present. So
right.
He may also already know, depending on what she has told him.
She probably told him.
Well, last time we were with Anna, she wasn't exactly mentally there. So she may have already forgotten about it.
And granted, she was insane and then hypnotized for part of it, so...
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You never know. She may not have been able to talk to Mr. Forrest yet. She probably got to the house. Probably his mother or someone probably pulled her aside. Hey, we need you to come over here.
Well, we won't know until we ask.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back, and I want to just check in with her. See how things are going. Okay. And then we can talk to Forrest, get some answers.
Sounds great to me, man.
So you make your way to Mr. Forrest's house. It is exactly as you remember it. I mean, it's nice, in a nice neighborhood, but nothing seems untoward, although I have to imagine you approach it with a slightly different, more suspicious mindset than you did previously.
As we're walking up to it, I want to kind of keep my eye on the top window in the attic as we're approaching.
Spot hidden.
That is a 68 under 74.
You think maybe you see motion behind the lace curtains. And then you notice that the window is cracked a bit. It's quite a warm day. So you're not certain if what you saw was the little bit of breeze toying with the curtains themselves or the motion of something behind it. But you do see motion. What happens?
I'm just going to keep a mental note of it, that there's motion up there. I just remember Anna saying something about there being motion, or actually it was Anna and Arson that saw it first time. Motion up in the attic.
Yes. And Anna did see quite clearly that it was an individual in bandages and did make the connection that during the seance, someone in bandages was behind her and dropped a bandage on her shoulder, which then was taken by Mr. Forrest. So, you're now currently standing very suspiciously out in the front yard.
Yeah. Well, we should probably head in. You know, we're trying to be casual, I guess, like we were just reporting back on another excursion.
Casual as you can be.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we all just go in.
Right. One of the rotating cast of guards, but not guards, like butler types, will open the door, kind of look at you all, and then notice you, Felix, kind of tip his hat at you. So he wouldn't be wearing a hat indoors. He'll make the motion of tipping his hat at you, and then show you in. And then head upstairs, and you hear a tapping on a door. and then just a brief exchange. You probably catch the words like something, something, Felix, something, something. As you wait in the parlor, Mr. Forrest descends the stairs. He is, as he does, he is taking off an apron. And kind of wads it up and hands it to the servant. I was just getting ready to take a break anyway. You here to report in?
Yeah, I think we found some interesting things. Just kind of want to get your take on it.
Yeah, Anna was saying something. She wasn't exactly clear. So I was hoping you guys would come and give me a little bit more of a rundown.
So we went and visited the mill again, the miller's mill. And so we kind of checking out the mill a little bit, and we noticed some weird things in the mill. Do you know exactly how the mill burnt down?
I know that it did burn down, but it was long before my time.
Okay. Okay.
But I know, I mean, it's called Old Colson Road because the Colson estate was out there.
Okay. Because we found some
Although I
interesting
don't think the mill itself, I mean, the mill is still standing, right? So it didn't completely burn down. But yeah, I do know that there was a big fire. There were rumors about it. Rumors that maybe it was not exactly an accident.
Well, it's also kind of hard to burn down a stone building.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean the whole, like, the fact that the whole thing, all the buildings allegedly burned down. Yeah, there's a little supposedly one of the Colsons was a witch or something, you know, consorting with Satan. Allegedly the folks at the time rose up and kind of did what folks do when they got unpleasant forces in their midst. Kind of took it into their own hands to take care of it.
Okay.
Not sure how much stock I put in that. People are pretty superstitious.
Well, that kind of tracks a little bit. I mean, when we examined the millstone itself, we found some very interesting markings sketched actually into the millstone itself. So that's kind of, I wanted to see what you knew about the actual mill itself and see if it kind of matched up correctly.
So when you say interesting markings, what do you mean?
I'm going to point to Elaine.
I didn't really get a good read on it, but definitely akin to what we see on Madame Selene currently.
Oh, well, that can't be good, can it?
No, it definitely is not.
So that's it? You found creepy old millstone?
So obviously you said the Colemans, correct?
Colsons.
Colsons. So you said they were like satanic worshippers?
That's what the stories say.
Okay. All right. Well, we were in the new shack. I guess maybe from the second owner since the first one burnt down, if I remember correctly.
Stands to reason, yeah.
So there was like a metal plate underneath the floorboards, like this huge metal plate. Do you happen to know maybe if they had some type of like cellar of some sort?
Well, every house is a cellar.
I mean, there's no like outside access. At least it's like in the middle of the house, sort of. I mean, it looks like there was some. Yeah.
Maybe it was part of the old Colson estate.
Okay. Because it looked like there was a stair. Well, there's definitely a staircase
Mm.
that leads down, but I was just curious on if you knew anything about maybe the Coulsons and how they.
Not before my time. Like I said,
Okay.
there's stories and rumors, and in my experience, sometimes rumors have a grain of truth with them, but it doesn't do you any good to take it all in and assume it's all true. I mean, it's been generation. All the people who would have been involved back then are old by now, I have to imagine. You think this has a lead? This is a lead on the murders.
Maybe a connection of some sort. So the other thing that we found was actually upstairs in the old shack. So the mold seems to be changing people. I need a little help here, guys, on this one. I'm not familiar with the terminology of what the mold is actually doing to people.
I mean, you all saw what it did to that person. I was not present for that, but the after effects were pretty clear. Consumption seems to corrupt people.
And unintentional exposure. As we've learned, and he kind of points over at Arson's hand.
Yeah. He kind of puts his arms behind his back and like.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that is potentially involved in the murders has been around in town for what, 30, 40 years?
We think we
And you think
so.
the Coulsons might have been involved back before they were burned out?
I was going to say there's some pretty strong evidence there. So that staircase that I was talking to you about, the metal, so it does lead down to some chamber. And the chamber has a lot of swirly patterns on the walls, very disorienting and mesmerizing when you look at them.
I see. And I have to assume Miss Anna was affected. That's maybe why she's a little bit vague at the moment.
Yeah.
There was a statue in the center of the room as well that she seemed drawn to.
Oh, well, that's never a good sign in my experience.
Yeah. Hasn't been in mine either.
So, hidden basement underneath the Miller's house leads down to a chamber with a... And you think somehow that's tied up in this mold.
Considering the mold was at the location and above the spot where the hatch was, yes.
It's a fair
It
assumption.
seems logical to draw that conclusion.
It's a fair assumption. It also means that there are... Well, let's see. Could be someone went out there, got infected, influenced, if you will, and then has since been attempting to spread whatever this influence is through murder. Could be there are human agents trying to advance some sort of... Could be the rumors about the Coulsons were true all along. They were up to something that they shouldn't have been. And perhaps they weren't as completely burnt out as folks around here say they were. The why they would wait so long, I don't know.
Well, we also ran into one other thing down there. And I feel like it's a something worth mentioning, just kind of outright here. So they were humanoid creatures with mushrooms and kind of, I think they had like furish on them. I don't know if it was fur or if it was just like maybe the mold or something. But they were down
Tattered
in
clothing.
and they kind of chased us out of there, and they did not like sunlight. And I shot two of them with my pistol. One disintegrated, but it was in like this weird light. Maybe it was just in the sunlight itself. And then the other one, I took half of its head off with a bullet, and it just kind of didn't phase it.
So strange creatures lingering in the darkness, seemingly impervious to weapons unless they are exposed to the light. Interesting. So he will go over, pull out a little key on a chain from his little waistcoat pocket and unlock one of his real fancy kind of bookshelves with the closing glass doors. Open it up, pull out a book, look through it. Not that one. Pull out another book, look through it, a little bit thicker. Get a little bit more than halfway through. Set it down on the table and spin it around, and there is a woodcut illustration that looks remarkably similar to what you saw, only absent the mold and the mushrooms.
Felix is going to tap the book, and they looked almost identical to this, except they had mushrooms and the mold on them.
Well, that's a ghoul, son.
A ghoul corrupted by the mold.
Perhaps made by the mold.
Or that.
So, other than apparently light, what are ghouls also vulnerable to? Or how can we get rid of them?
He'll spin it around and look. How many of them were there?
A lot.
A lot.
More than we could count. I had time to count.
All right. Well, I mean, as far as this here says, I mean, stack enough stabbing and shooting on him. It'll eventually slow him down, if not stop him completely. But yeah, sunlight or disruption of whatever force it is that animates them. Typically, they are created by powerful evil, powerful magic. Or they are those who have, in life, given themselves over to something evil and magical, with the promise of reward of everlasting life, only to find that everlasting life is nothing but all-consuming hunger. Nasty, nasty creatures. I only ever run across one myself before.
Yeah, would prefer not to cross them again.
Are they made, or do they just, assuming they're not what you said, somebody made a pact in life, is somebody making these ghouls, or are they just occurring?
Like I said, I only ever run across one before. It was down by Yuma way. The locals had worshipped it almost as a god for generations. They kept it a hole in the ground. Occasionally, depending upon the portents that they read in the sky and in the flight of birds and in the movement of other creatures, they would make sacrifice to it. And when I say they worshipped, it's not that like they venerated it or thought that it was something good or holy, but it was more that they felt it was their job to keep it controlled and sated, to protect the world. Now, they believe that it was able to make more. They were always on the lookout for signs. Children born strange and different. With concern, I don't want to tell you what they did, but they were always vigilant on the lookout for signs that whatever power it was that animated the creature was trying to escape. But nothing in that experience had anything to do with, missing body parts or strange mold or anything like that.
It is very interesting that there is this weird cavern down there. It's a chamber with 2 entrances. There's
Two
a
entrances.
Staircase. Yes. Ghouls came from one. Now it's fairly blocked off now because of some dynamite, but but yeah. We didn't get to explore down the second entrance at all.
All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It hangs together almost, or it's weird that the body was found under the bridge next to the mill. My friends go to the mill, they find some kind of shrine or hole with ghouls in it. Just, I don't know, it seems like they're probably connected more likely than not. Just,
Yeah. Seems like someone's been up to something in this area for a while now. And for whatever reason, this is just, and you can almost see him. He's talking, but you can almost see it like him connecting dots in his head, but it's not like what's coming out of his mouth. He's kind of put his mouth on autopilot while he's thinking about some things.
Mm.
Well, it does seem most intriguing, although I hate to use that word. Don't mean to make light of it. It does put potentially a new light on some things. So you blocked up the hole, right?
Best we possibly could. I mean,
we dropped a house on it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the house kind of dropped on us.
Well, and then we moved the house and then we put it back. It's covered up and marked so that we know not to touch it.
yeah, just look for the broken house.
Yeah, subtly marked.
Down there later, whichever one.
While they were recounting, the misadventures underneath the mill, I was thinking that like Arson would have been like paying attention to Forrest and kind of just like focusing on him, trying to see if like is he giving anything away of like recognition or like pre-awareness of any of this.
Yeah, psychology.
That is a. Ooh, do we have any boons?
I think so.
I'm gonna use a major boon because I rolled a 71.
Yeah, we got a major boon and 3 minors.
I'm using a major boon to flip that into a 17.
Cool.
Under 40.
Cool. So that makes it a hard success. Yeah, it's specifically when his mouth kind of goes on autopilot and you see that thing happening where he's connecting some dots. His gaze strays upward, kind of toward the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I think, because that was a hard success, I think you detect some complicated emotions from him when he does that. So there's an intellectual part. That is probably similar to what you've observed with other doctors like Anna when trying to figure something out. So there's very much like an intellectual engagement and problem solving. But there's also a deep, I'm going to say it's hard to know precisely what the emotion is, but there's a, how to describe it? You've seen you've seen how parents and siblings and couples have reacted when they learn that their loved one is in danger. There's a certain character of worry that, someone might be worried that a neighbor is missing. Or you probably have applied pressure to people by threatening their loved ones.
Oh, many times.
Yeah, you know what the pressure points are. There's a different quality of engagement and worry that happens when it's someone that's that close to you, like family. And that's very much the kind of emotional read that you get from just these micro expressions on his face. And it's just like a second. And then he's back. And I don't think he notices that you clock it because it's purely internal to you. So it's a weird combination of, oh, maybe this is a clue, maybe this will help me solve a problem that I've been working on, but also worry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I don't know that we know that much more than we knew before. Frankly, there's more questions now than there were. What's your next step?
Well, how is our guest doing?
We're making her comfortable. Good Miss Anna is being quite liberal with the laudanum. Keep her calm. I'll tell you, I don't have high hopes that she'll come back to us the way she was before. Whatever it was that she went through, I'm afraid, damaged her mind beyond repair. But I've been wrong before. She could come back to us, and who knows what insight she might be able to share. Now, if she does come back to us, whether she'd be willing to share those insights is another matter. I can tell by the look on your face, Elaine, that you know a bit about Miss Lynn.
We've met in passing before, and she's not always authentic, in my experience.
And a bit unruly, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, at least this one's kind of hard to fake.
I'm not saying that she faked it. I'm just saying whether or not she tells the truth about it, or if she says anything at all.
Yeah.
That's another story.
But we do have a bit of a
Assuming
problem. It appears that whatever process it was that was at work upon her is now complete. She is covered from head to toe, every inch of skin. I would invite you to look in on her, however. We're being very cautious to make sure no one is alone with her. There's a certain vague compulsion when one is in proximity to her, particularly when one looks too closely at the markings. A certain desire to puzzle them out that isn't entirely natural.
Yeah.
Is it? We've seen one or two of these strange things. And let me tell you, this is things. These are weird. These are weird. Is she long for the world? I mean, is it? It sounds like her mind is shattered. It's clearly something incredibly strange. Like, I mean, how much longer is she going to live?
Based on my examination and corroborated by Anna's examination, she is surprisingly physically healthy. She has not eaten or drank anything. We tried to force a bit on her. But she should be suffering a bit from lack of food and water. And yet she doesn't appear to be whatsoever. Something is staining that woman.
And you're keeping her in your house?
Well, there's no better place.
I mean, there's got to be, I don't know, a prison, a halfway house, an asylum, something along those lines that you could put her.
Yeah, what makes your house the safest place?
He'll just look at Elaine and smile.
It's safe. Safer than sticking her around a bunch of people that would try to read her.
Yes.
Would be.
At least here we're prepared.
What
And
type
it-
of preparedness have you made?
Let's just say I have connections. I talked to you about my circle of friends and some of their, shall we say, obscure interests. I have friends who are quite well studied in the ways of the odd and unusual. And I have prevailed upon certain favors I have done for them in the past to ensure that this place is protected. You can see, and as you know well, Felix, I apply some of my material bounty to ensure this place is protected from the ordinary threat. I've applied that same privilege to ensure that it is protected from the extraordinary as well. Now, what good that will be against a horde of ravening ghouls that might very well be on their way here while the sun's still up, might very well be prepared to venture forth in revenge for your little incursion, I suppose we'll find out.
Is that something that you think is going to happen? I mean, should we be boarding up these windows?
Boarded up windows is probably unlikely to stop them. It's
Then what do we
it's
do?
the other protections I think that might be more effective. Well, I suppose that's a good question. It depends upon where you lay the odds. Are they going to come after you? Or are they going to come after her?
Well, let's go with they're going to probably come after us because they probably don't know that she exists yet.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be 100% sure of that.
Mm.
I'd stake my wages on them coming after her before they come after us.
Depends.
You said that-
Let's worry about what we know that they know. Let's try to keep it simple. If we start worrying about everything in the world, we're going to drive ourselves insane with trying to worry about everything. So let's just think that the ghouls are going to come after the ones that invaded. So Anna, me, and Elaine.
They do have a powerful sense of smell.
So let's keep it that way first. Make it simple.
Okay. Okay.
And presuming that they are potentially on their way, what are we going to do about that?
Well, you can ride out of town, hope to get ahead of them.
Well, if maybe we can try to make some artificial sunlight. Is that any possible way? Do we have anything that does that?
I mean, I suppose you could always go find someone to sell you a monkey's paw. But that'd be crazy.
Super crazy.
Or a hand of glory.
equally as crazy, definitely.
Right. But who would have that in Denver?
Who indeed?
To the players, Chef, if you wanted to actually say something about possibly Damon being upstairs, since you noticed him kind of flicking his eyes upstairs, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That's your call.
Yeah, I think Arson would have played that. I don't think he
For the
really,
original plan.
Yeah, I don't think he really fully trusts Forrest yet.
Okay.
So I think that he would want to get a chance to confer with y'all privately before just coming out and being like, "Hey, I think you've got somebody hiding upstairs."
Okay. All right.
Well, if we think that they're coming after her, why don't we move? Like we could get like a carriage, fast horses, lead them on a, just a goose chase around town, put her on there and just outrun them all night.
Those things were pretty fast, man. I mean, I threw a stick of dynamite, they dug through whatever fell on them and caught up to us by the time we even got to the top of the stairs. And it was, a good 20-yard run up the steps, roughly 30 yards. I mean, it was a deep hole, and they caught up to us real quick.
Okay.
So I don't think horses are gonna do it.
Okay. So no Operation Goose Chase.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna call in a favor. I and Miss Len and Miss Anna and Miss Minnie and other members of my household will absent ourselves. This is not the only place that I have. I will see to it that if indeed Miss Len is their target, that she is nowhere to be found. You will stay here. Because if they can't find her, they'll try to find you. You will have the benefit of some of the extraordinary protections on this place. It should help you. And perhaps if you're lucky, you'll fight them all off.
We just have to make it to sunrise.
It's true. And hopefully if they meet more resistance than they anticipate, they will lose track of time, making it difficult for them to get back into whatever hidey hole they would secrete themselves into to avoid the sun. So that those that you aren't able to take care of yourselves will be taken care of by nature.
What if we tried trapping them instead of fighting?
How do you expect to trap them? And what?
Well, I don't know how all this magic stuff works, but I'm thinking, like, Elaine, you had the sunlight magic that you said you cast, and you shot them, like, so clearly they can be vulnerable. I mean, you seem like a erudite fellow, a man of letters. I mean, like, is there anything you could gain from having a live specimen?
No.
Yeah, I would not want to keep them alive, but trapping them to kill them, potentially. If we can keep them in one spot until the sun rises in order to ensure that they're all destroyed, that would be ideal. So that we don't have to repeat this song and dance every night.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like from what you were saying, if it was a siege situation and we were fighting them off, I don't think we would last long. It kind of sounds like y'all made it out by barely the skin of your teeth.
I think the biggest thing with that is we weren't prepared for the fight. It was just kind of, we heard the screaming of the ghouls. I tried to close the path with a piece of dynamite and then we ran. We didn't try to stay and fight. I mean, our backs were kind of against the wall. We didn't know what we were going up against. At least now we have a little bit more insight. We have somewhere that's a little bit more fortified, and we know that they're coming for us this time. So we might have at least a 50-50 shot.
We at least have time to make preparations.
It's up to y'all, but I would recommend if you're gonna make a stand, I would make a stand here. The protections on this place may not keep him out. May not keep him out, but once they're in, should keep him in.
If this place were to fall, do you have a place for everybody, a safe place, a second safe place for everybody to go? Okay.
That's where I'll be hightailing it to. Then he'll wave over, get the carriage, make ready for us to depart. Whatever the force is that animates these creatures should be weakened somewhat by the protections on this place if they make it in. My guess is they'll be too weak to get out. Should make it easier for you to take care of it. I won't lie. It's going to be dangerous. But it's either that or run as far and as fast as you can and don't ever stop running.
Yeah, that's not so much of an option. I don't like my life on the run.
No. It's hard enough without monsters.
Well, and Providence willing, there may be a few less monsters in the world once tonight is over. And if I come back to find this place overrun, I will say a prayer for you as I burn it to the ground.
And say if we fall, you won't have a place to come back to.
I'm a resourceful man.
Okay. Sounds like we've got a plan.
Well, I suggest you go to the outfitters. Take this note with you and he'll write a note for you. Put anything you need on my account.
Thank you.
Now make yourself scarce. You got lots of work to do before the dusk falls.
Yeah.
So we'll have a montage. We'll have a moment, let you guys think about any supplies that you might need. You have probably about 4 or 5 hours before dusk proper hits, and one presumes a bit of time, if indeed, because this is all supposition, if indeed they're trying to track you down. So you think you have a while to prepare. He mostly wanted you out so he can take care of things here without you all observing. So we'll retcon next time. So be thinking about like any plans that you might have, like traps, supplies, etc. Within reason. Like don't go buy a herd of horses, right? But within reason, he will let you use his account with the outfitters. So some stuff happens, some busy work, some preparation and planning. And then you're back in the house. It is empty. It has been like none of the furniture is moved or whatever. So it's like it's just as you expected, but it has that feeling of emptiness. And there definitely is just a quality of the presence that is different that I'm sure Elaine picks up on. there's a, it's one of those things where you didn't realize it was present until it was absent. But there was a certain force that has been present here that perhaps you thought was just part of the overarching enchantment, but that has somehow changed. But you check with your extra senses, and it seems like all the wards are in place. And we'll close on you all with the gas lamps turned down low, gathered in the heart of the house. And then probably jumping at every sound. Ready, loaded for bear. And as we hear the first scrabbling of clawed hands and feet on the roof, we fade to black. Which just means you have to all show up next time. and if Katie is here, then Anna runs back in and it's like, oh no, I'm back. I couldn't leave you all to fight on your own. And if Erthos is able to join us, Jack will, come, toddle on up the front steps with a bottle of Jack in one hand. What are you guys up to? I'm at a party. What's that on the roof? So we'll figure out who is prepared to take part in what is certain to be a pitched battle against dozens of ghouls.
Yay!
You probably won't all die. Because the protections on this place are quite powerful and will certainly help. But we might need another Hail Mary from Elaine.
Or there won't be any consequences for whatever Elaine's doing.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
You might need to think about how you're going to use your super extra fancy dancy hand.
Yeah.
Just Iron Man it.
Yeah.
Shoot things out of your palm.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, yeah. And you got a spare battery now.
Enchanted a little.
Yeah.
So
I had an idea of like trying to use it as a beacon almost to like lead them where I need them.
Oh yeah. There's all, so you have plenty of resources at your disposal already, plus anything that you decide you need as far as your, within reason, you can do all kinds of stuff. So be planning for how you are going to weather the siege. And hopefully we will close the next session with the sun rising. And all of you battered and bloody, but alive. And probably about 30 fewer ghouls in the world. Cool. And maybe there'll be some clues that you'll be able to find out. You could invite them all in for tea and just so what's up with this fungus stuff?
Yeah, you want to just talk it out?
It's entirely possible.
Take the opportunity to go poke around the upstairs suite.
Oh, that's 100% locked. And locked. So you can, I would say you can spend the next 4 hours trying to get in there or preparing yourself so you don't die. It's a choice. You can choose.
Oh no, the ghoul accidentally shot the lock off the door.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that'll work.
It's I'm mostly being silly, but you do have the run of the place, so there are some things that you could conceivably investigate. Just be aware that might impact your readiness for what's coming. And maybe it's just one ghoul. Maybe it's a raccoon. You never know.
We've had bad experience with raccoons.
Yeah. So cool, awesome. Well, thanks everyone for coming and playing, and except for Katie, who's in chat but not playing with us. How dare you, Katie? Katie, why?
How dare you be on the other side of the country right now?
I know, right? There's cell phones. You can dial in on a cell phone. It's fine. It's fine. We miss you. she just knew this was coming. So she's like, I want to be safe. I want to be the one that lives.
That's not true. She was so upset she couldn't be a part of this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Katie.
She was like, I should have put my flight on Wednesday so I could play. And I was like, you wouldn't have even have known that it was
Yeah.
going to happen on a
No,
Tuesday.
it's fine. It's fine. Well, don't worry. This is not the worst thing that's going to happen to everyone. You'll have plenty of opportunity to deal with much more eldritch horror. Cool.
Yay.
So poor Katie's like, I should have known anyway. You're fine. You're fine. I'm just making fun of you. And thanks to everyone for joining, and thanks to Juice for the raid. And good to see everyone. And yeah, so and we're not going to pretend to cut this for YouTube because I don't want to have to trim both ends of this thing. So yeah, so thanks everyone for coming. Thanks everyone for playing. Come and join us next week. I think I'll be out of town on Monday through Wednesday, but I think we're talking Thursday next week if we can, or if we need to make it the following Tuesday so that Arson can be there to do the magic hand mojo. We'll figure it out. Cool. Or we could
Halloween episode.
Yeah, we could do a back in time thing. There's all sorts of stuff. So we'll figure it out as this happens. Just as long as we know that this fate is looming over everyone, I'll be happy. Cool. And we should definitely go right out to someone. The first one that comes to mind on my list, we've got the Lollygaggers, which we've rated out to them before, and they seem cool. We got Dork Tales, which we rate out to a lot. They're awesome. Mad Burn Streams is doing D&D. GM Baylog is doing some tabletop thingy. I am open to suggestions, however. Magi RPG is doing Blades in the Dark.
That sounds appropriate.
Cool. Yeah, that's a very, very cool system. More people should be playing it. So yeah, let's hit them up. Thanks for dropping in those radicals. And learn to spell. There's no O in raid. Shocker.
Rado.
Cool. Awesome. Well, the raid queue is loading up. Thanks everyone, and we will see you again very shortly. And as your head hits the pillow tonight, say a prayer for these poor cowboys and cowgirls who are about to go into a really messy situation next time. So cool. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.